Hey everybody. So, I'm getting organized to start filming for the new season, and it's kind of funny. So, getting my cameras ready to go, I stumbled across 2 episodes worth of footage that I recorded and then never did anything with. It just kind of got lost in the shuffle and all the hubbub with having to get ready for my shoulder surgery and Katie having to go back to school in September, and we had a couple of things go south in our personal life that kept me away from y'all for the last few months. But we're coming back, and just for the hell of it, since I've already got the footage, I'm sitting here kind of editing everything together and turning it into something halfway watchable for you where you might actually learn something. So go get a drink, sit back, and enjoy Bush Hippies Season 3 Lost Episodes. Hi, Kate. Hey, folks. So, it's another gorgeous afternoon, and Katie and I decided, got a hankering for chili for dinner. So, got my big old stock pot rocking and rolling over there on the jet stove, and I'm gonna show you how I like to make chili for me and Katie. And since I'm in the habit when I'm cooking stuff like that of cooking for an army, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill the stock pot up, and then I'll show you how to can up the rest to have for later. Any good pot of chili, of course. Well, not any good pot. I'm making chili con carne. I like to use turkey meat because when you're canning things that have meat in it, you really want to try to avoid using meats that have a lot of fat in them. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using ground beef or even beef stew meat for that matter in your chili. I've done that before. But it's not a good idea to can anything with meat in it that's got a lot of fat, because the fat will make your meat go rancid after a while, and your shelf life isn't going to be the same as if you use something leaner. So, and on top of that, ground turkey, I'm pretty sure it's about the cheapest you can get for a protein from the grocery store. I mean, so it goes for usually less than $3 a pound where I buy it at my local canned grocery outlet. I'm over here.
Oh.
Y'all gotta bear with Katie today. She didn't sleep too good last night, so she doesn't want to actually be in the episode, but I've got her running the camera for me. Anyway, so when I'm making a big canner batch of chili like this, we're doing... Hey, watch what you're doing.
It's on you.
We're doing 6 pounds of we're starting with 6 pounds of ground turkey meat. I got it browned. This is the last chub right here. I just got done browning it up. Gonna kill the jet stove, let that cool off a minute, because that big ass frying pan holds a lot of heat. I don't know how many times I've burnt myself on it, and some of y'all probably got so plastered playing that Ben burns himself drinking game on the Beats episode. Who wants another hangover like that? Well, that's what it amounts to. There is 6 pounds of ground turkey meat, uh, 10 cans of diced, or 8 cans of diced tomatoes, 2 cans of tomato sauce, 3 cans each kidney beans and pinto beans, and because I'm a weirdo, 4 cans of sweet corn. I'm just waiting for that to heat up, come to a boil, and then I'm going to be throwing in 6 packs of McCormick chili seasoning because I am too lazy to do the mental gymnastics to figure out how much spices to put in that. Okay, a little bit of context here. Over the last few years during the pandemic, like probably most of you, I had a few spells here and there of hard times. In a few instances, stuff went completely off the rails. But, with the financial instability and all the supply chain issues back then and everything else, I'm not ashamed to admit, like a lot of people, I wound up having to hit up some of the food banks. Now, because of that, I wound up with just a massive pile of kidney beans, diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, things like that. And I also had, because I used to do all of my canning, preserving, winter prep work for 3 people, I had just a massive pile of expired jars of homemade canned goods sitting in the cupboard that I had to get rid of. Well, last week, Katie and I finally tackled that and started getting that cupboard emptied out. And in the process of doing so, discovered that we had accumulated way more cans of beans and tomatoes than was practical to store. So, that leads us to the 22-quart stock pot full of chili sitting on my jet stove. I hate waste, okay? I hate it at all. It just drives me crazy. You could attribute it to growing up the dirt poor son of a logger or just the way the rest of my life has been. I don't throw anything out that I don't absolutely have to. However, I had way more canned ingredients than I could practically store. That's where the chili comes in. The way I like to make my chili, I'm always going to use, even if I'm just making a normal, sane person sized batch, I'm going to use a pound of ground meat. I'm going to use a can of tomato sauce, a can of diced tomatoes, and 2 cans of beans. And a can of corn, but like I said, that's just because I'm a little bit weird. So basically all I'm doing here is making several batches of chili ahead of time. And once it's done, cooked off, simmered down, and thickened to where we like it, it's not going to go to waste. Because the jars of leftover chili that come out of that pot after Katie and I have had our fill for supper tonight are not going to take nearly as much space in the cupboard as all the cans that I just emptied out to make it. And, well, this winter, since all signs are pointing to surgery on the jacked up shoulder, big old pile of jars of chili in the cupboard is going to make life a lot easier come dinner time once Katie goes back to school. So it's part meal prep, part empty out the cupboard, and part chili just sounded good. Alrighty. 6 chili seasoning packets later, it's chili. Well, almost. It's proto chili. Pre chili? Chili adjacent. Now, I gotta keep an eye on my heat and just let it sit there and simmer for the rest of the afternoon. I forgot that I picked up a bag of mini bell peppers for this project. I do think, however, that the size of that pot, I'm probably going to be here a while. But it's worth it. Why would you not put sweet peppers in chili? And big old red onion, just because I freaking can. Now, I'll tell you right now, at this point, this might seem like a recipe video, but it's not. Uh, Depending on how long this one runs, it may or may not turn into a canning video at some point. That's going to come down to basically how much footage I wind up with by the time everything's said and done and ready to be put away. I'm not going to dump a feature-length film on you about canning chili. No, I'm not that sadistic. No, this is basically, this video is just tossing out an idea for some of y'all that wound up accumulating a lot of stuff over in the pantry over the last couple years, and you're like, what the hell am I going to do with this? I'm going to wind up with, well, obviously dinner tonight, and then I'll probably wind up with the equivalent of about a case of 15-ounce cans of chili by the time I'm done loading up my jars and running everything through the pressure cooker. Now, I don't buy chili by the case because that's not how I roll. But I do occasionally buy a can here and there for chili dogs and stuff like that. So I know that the good brands, you know, your Nally, Stag, stuff like that, it goes for about $4.50 a can. And at $4.50 a can, trying to stay on top of it, you know, so that you can have it whenever you want, that's going to get expensive freaking fast. Especially since, you know, typical grocery store nowadays, there's really no such thing as a bulk discount anymore. I mean, yeah, you still see it from time to time, places like Walmart and things like that, but if you don't live close to a Walmart, you know, if you're just making do with the local, you know, Piggly Wiggly, or in the case of my area, it's Food Pavilion owned by an outfit called The Market, you know, you're not going to get a discount for buying in bulk. And that means that, you know, you're stuck going grocery shopping every couple of days, burning extra gas, expending extra energy that you could be doing other stuff with. I mean, it's worth it.
That's why I'm saying I'll drive.
No.
Why can't I drive?
Because
Because why?
Because if you drive and everything goes to shit, that'll give me the option of blaming you.
Okay, I'll let you blame me.